Hey, welcome back to You Can Play It Too, a series where I break down fingerstyle guitar songs so much that pretty much anyone can just pick up a guitar and play along. Today, we're working on Pavane of the Starry Night Part 4, and this is Section C. Alright, let's jump right in. Alright, welcome back to Part C of Pavane of the Starry Night. So again, let's start off by hearing the whole thing first. Alright, let's start from the beginning. As mentioned in the last video, we are starting off with an open 5th string. The first chord I'm barring here is a partial bar on the 5th fret, so I'm barring strings 1, 2, and 3. I'm also barring string 4, but you don't need to. Make sure you are barring strings 1, 2, and 3 though. And I have my pinky on the 7th fret. I'm plucking strings 1, 2, and 3. And then, the next chord, we want to let go of our pinky and pluck strings 1, 2, and 3 again. Now we have 2 percussives on the middle 2 strings, and then we pluck them as open strings. They're in brackets because they are filler notes, so you want to play them as gently as you can. They are there because you want to get ready for the next part. So the next part, I'll be using my thumb to fret the 7. Now this shape is a dominant 7 shape, but we have a sharp 5th, which is this ATC, which means you want to add on your pinky. So I have my thumb on the 7th fret on string 6, and my second finger on the 2nd string, same fret, my first finger on the 4th string, same fret. So these are all the 7th fret. Now I want to add on my 3rd finger onto the 3rd string, 8th fret. This is our dominant 7th, but we also want to add in the last 8, which I will be using my pinky for. I'll add my pinky onto the 2nd string, 8th fret. Now we get this really crunchy chord. Alright, and after we play this chord, we want to let go of our pinky and play string 2 and 3 again. Now we play the percussives on the middle 2 strings and pluck them. Just as is, you don't have to change anything with your left hand. Okay, and the next part, we start off with an open string 6, as we find the 2 7s. So the first 7 is on the 2nd string. I will be using my 3rd finger for this one. So I have my 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 7th fret, and my 2nd finger on the 4th string, 7th fret. We will be sliding these 2 notes down to the 5th fret, and then plucking them one more time. And then we want to pluck the open 1st string, which is the exact same note as we are fretting right here. Alright, the second half of this bar we have 2 harmonics. If you don't know how to play a harmonic, you can watch part 0 of this series. I explained how to play harmonics. So, before we play the first harmonic, we have an open string 6 again as our root. And the first harmonic we have on the second string 7th fret. The second harmonic we have on the first string 12th fret. And the note we're playing right before that is an open 3rd string. Now, as you can hear, the open 3rd string sounds kind of weird because it is a filler note. So again, play it as gently as you can. The next note is in brackets because it is completely optional. I play it just to help me keep time, but you can just ignore it and skip it. Right to the next bar. Now this next bar is basically exactly the same as the first bar, except for one small detail. The very first chord, we're playing the root with the chord. So the open 5th string, this time we're playing with the rest of the chord. So I'll be playing strings 1, 2, 3, and 5 at the same time. We are not breaking it apart this time. Now the bar that follows this one, the first half is exactly the same again. Or sorry, only the first beat. The first beat is exactly the same. So again, we want to find the 2 7s, slide it down to 5, play the 5 again. But this time, right after we play the 5s again, we want to play percussives on the 2 strings we've been plucking. As we slide back up to 7. The second time we pluck the 7s, we want to slide it back down as well, but this time we don't have a destination. We just want to slide it down a bit as we find the 3 and 4. The 3, I will be using my first finger. It's on the 1st string 3rd fret. My first finger is on the 1st string 3rd fret. And then I have my second finger on the 5th string 4th fret. This is a little tricky to find, so make sure you practice this a little bit and make sure you can find it every single time. What follows this is really easy. We have an open 2nd string, a percussive on the 3rd string, and the open 3rd string. 2nd string, percussive on 3rd, and then open 3rd. Now we are moving on to the next bar. We start off by playing an 8, which I will be fretting with my thumb on string 6. Now this one is really tricky because we need a dominant 7 while adding a 10 on the 2nd string. So we have the same shape as earlier. The same dominant 7 shape, but this time I will be using a partial bar. I have my first finger on strings 2, 3, and 4. So I'll be using my first finger to bar these 3 strings, and I will use my second finger to add on to the 3rd string 9th fret. And that is how I get my dominant shape. Because now I have my pinky or my 3rd finger free to play the 10th fret on the 2nd string, which is our first chord. So our first chord, we have a root on the 6th string, we have an 8, and the chord we have 9 and 10 on strings 3 and 2. The second note we'll be playing, all we have to do is let go of the 10. So now we go back to the typical dominant 7 shape. And then we have percussives on the middle 2 strings. You can leave out one percussive as noted in the sheet music, where you can play both of them. So percussives on the middle 2 strings, and then we pluck them right after, just as is. We don't have to change anything. Now I know that's a little bit hard for some people, so we can simplify this. I'll show you the simplified way now. Your thumb doesn't change. Thumb is still on the 8th fret, string 6. But instead of barring this, we only need one note. So you'll be using your first finger for the 2nd string, 8th fret. So now we have 2 8th frets. Second finger is also the same. So we have second finger on string 3. So 1, 2, 3 on the 8th fret. Sorry, 9th fret. That is our 3-note dominant shape. Although it's not really dominant at this point. So now we have, again, our 3rd or pinky free to fret the 10. You can use whichever one you like on the 2nd string. But since we're not barring this anymore, we now have our 4th string open, so we do not want to pluck the 4th string this time. Which means right after the percussive, we'll be plucking a single 3rd string instead of the middle 2 strings. Okay, let's move on. The next chord, again, our root doesn't change. We have our thumb on 8 on string 6. But our first finger moves down to the 7th fret, which is a little awkward, but we don't have to hold this chord for too long. And then our 3rd finger doesn't change. So our 3rd finger is still on the 3rd string, 9th fret. So we get this chord. What the squiggly line means is basically we are rolling the chord, so we are not playing it at the same time. We're rolling the chord. So we go from low to high. And then we want to play the 3rd string one more time. Because it is the only one that is not tied to the first time we played it. Now we move our thumb down to the 7th fret. And we play the same chord again. And also we want to roll it this time as well. Now we have a sus4 resolving down back to normal. And we do that by keeping this shape and then adding our 2nd finger onto the 3rd string, 8th fret. And all we have to do is remove our 3rd finger. I'm playing the 3rd string again. Alright, let's recap this part. So we start with our thumb still on the 8th fret. Move it down. Add on our 2nd finger and remove 3rd. Now, since we removed our 3rd finger, it is now free to fret the next note, which is on the 4th string, 9th fret. Now we have a major chord shape. And we just just want to play the single 4th string on the 9th fret. And this will bring us to the next part, which is section A2 again. All right, now let's hear section C one last time. And that's it. And that was Pavane with the Starry Night Part 4. I hope you are able to follow along, and I will see you in the next part where we'll be covering how to connect everything together and also the bridge. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. Alright, have a good day. Bye.